Hello everyone, I just had to do this video, but I'm gonna go back and do it again here with you now because recording it like twice before, I went on a little bit too long. So, what are we looking at? Well, this is the rest of the level you might remember that I've been doing for a while now. It's such a big environment, and it only gets bigger when you find out that the scale for this is technically incorrect now, so I'm gonna have to scale all of this up. But what we're here for today is to celebrate the upper floor being done here. What's gonna happen is because the building itself has another floor that's almost exactly like this, with just minor changes to this sort of area. So what I can do is copy most of this onto the floor below. The one thing that I'm looking at now and I'm worried about is maybe having to bring out the sides a little bit just to make enough room for the stairs either side, which isn't too bad. But yeah, we're here to celebrate the top floor being finally in engine in sort of its very basic alpha form, and I'm loving it. I'm loving all these little details that I've managed to get in. Had some issues with Blender and Unreal. Blender was having problems with materials. There were being too many materials on the model seemingly, which I don't quite understand because it's already handled the rest of the exterior pretty well. I don't even even the texture here is not properly applied, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, I had problems with textures. I actually had a floor on the ceiling instead, and then had to go back and mess around with the ceiling to get it to actually look like it had ceiling tiles on it. And a lot of the faces were inverted. It was really weird. Basically, I could see through the mesh, and there were textures in the wrong places. This lighting is placeholder, but you can see there's a lot of office space to run around in. It's going to be good when I throw like chairs in here and everything else, and filing cabinets and stuff, and really flesh this out and make it feel like a lived-in environment. You got some weird lighting thing going on here with this door frame. Not quite sure what's going on there, but yeah, it's really nice to see this, especially considering how accurate I've managed to get it. There are bits, like I said before, that I need to edit, like this area. This is just sort of a mock-up area of where the other stairs are going to be. I just love, especially like with this guy here, seeing him just sat there menacingly with this. I think that one's a sledgehammer, because the AI has different weapons it can spawn with. Yeah, he's got a sledgehammer. This has no collision at the moment. But yeah, doing all these textures, nothing texture-wise here is over 256 to keep with standard PlayStation limits. In fact, most textures are either 64, 32, or 128. I think the most common texture size I've got is 64 by 64. I try and keep the both the file size and the actual image size down so that it kind of sticks with what they used to work with. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving how this all looks. Even in the dark, it's still pretty cool. Like, I can't wait to see what this looks like when I finally lit it properly, and we can see how spooky it looks, because the idea is to make it pretty dark and then have you be able to light up the areas. You got all these like different bits of carpet, like this one's blue, in there is brown, and then we got this laminated floor. We've got all these windows going around here. There are actually window panes in here. I just need to mess around with the textures a little bit more to make it more convincing and make it look like dirty glass. In here, we got a couple of bathrooms that are based off the Metal Gear Solid 1 bathrooms, including the style of the tiles. The actual colours I was trying to match the actual reference, but the thing is, the reference that I was getting from somebody else didn't describe the actual look of this place, so I went back in Metal Gear Solid 1, looked at how they did it, and then went on some website, pulled up some images of tiles, and then just went on Photoshop a load of them together, so pretty much the same look as Metal Gear Solid 1 there. It's going to be fun putting toilets and stalls in, and mirrors, and some sinks, and just really going to town and fleshing all this out. It's going to be fun running into these areas and slamming doors and trying to knock over things just to get the AI off your toes. It's funny because like in this sort of situation, you just throw a chair in the doorway and then the AI would try and go around here to find you. I had that in very early alpha tests where players would like block themselves in certain areas. They wouldn't be able to go anywhere, but the AI wouldn't be able to get to them. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm just enjoying walking around here and really taking in all this detail after I worked so hard on this for like the past. Oh, I spent like a week or two trying to think of how I could optimize all of this and how I could do it. Because I wanted to keep it as low poly as possible, and then ended up separating the floor, the walls, and the ceiling into different bits, and then the door frames as separate bits, and so is the frame for the windows, which is why they've got a few more polys in them, but they're all basically blocks with like faces cut out of them, and also when you go into certain areas, it doesn't render others, so it's kind of like Crash Bandicoot on the PlayStation 1, how when you're not looking at something, it doesn't render it. So, in that sense, I'm saving a lot of polygons there. So I can afford to do things like the door frames in 3D and then the actual doors in 3D, and really kind of leaning into the whole look that I'm going for, which is heavily inspired by Dino Crisis. So yeah, we're back here again. So I am. I'm just enjoying walking, like really walking around and getting a sense of scale and stuff, and I hope you guys will enjoy this and enjoy future videos where I go back and add more to this and do the floors below, and then once I've done this building, move on to the next building. It's a very big project, and I've only just sort of dawned on that as I got this set up because of how crazy it was to do just this one floor. But now I've got my head around it, hopefully everything else should go a little bit quicker. Plus with me building modular assets that I can piece together for like doors and door frames and things, it makes scale a little bit easier to wrap my head around. It's just a case of testing it through Blender and then bringing it into Unreal and making sure everything's fine, making sure that everything feels like it's almost like real life, really. Like with the scale of the door frame here, I think that's pretty accurate for the height of a door, based on the character height and everything, and the width of it. So yeah, it's really going to be fun to see where this project goes and how crazy it gets. And I might have to pull some little tricks here and there to import things because of, like I said before, Blender having issues with importing things with either flipped faces or too many materials on things. It's going to have to be something that I keep an eye out for and see if anybody else has had these problems. But yeah, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed and look forward to the rest of this project and any updates. There's going to be plenty more stuff coming in future, so I thank you very much and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.